Welcome to She's Crafted to Thrive. I'm your host, Nikita Williams, and this show is for all the ladies who are making and creating things that they love. You will hear conversations about the real everyday struggles of juggling life and business while trying to maintain passion and harmony. As women, we have the skill of getting things done, but sometimes we get in our own way. It's here where you'll see that you're not alone. You'll discover that success does not mean perfection. Fear and negative thoughts and challenges are all a part of the journey. And on this podcast, you'll find the inspiration and tools you need to have a life and business that thrives. Welcome to She's Crafted to Thrive. This is your host, Nikita Williams, the owner of Crafted to Thrive, a creative coaching business, helping women find the things that they love and find a space to do the things that they love despite the challenges and fears and all the things that comes along with having a business. I am super excited to share with you guys my word for 2020. Every year I used to hear about, people having a word for their year. And only last year did I kind of start making that a thing. I always, prior to this year, made goals, obviously, that were like one really big goal to work on. But I have found that having one word really shifts my intentions for the decisions and choices that I make throughout the year. So last year, my word was community, which really fostered a really amazing thing for my business. And it taught me a lot about myself, and it taught me a lot about the people that I want to serve, the ladies that are most likely listening to the show right now. It taught me a lot about you guys. And so some people might be wondering, what is the big deal? Why should I have a word for the year? Well, one, it helps you create mindful and intentional habits for your life, like for the year. It helps you be focused. It's kind of like you have this one word and there are no distractions. You're like a horse with blinders on. You kind of are focusing on this one particular goal because it's a very intentional goal. It's broad, but it helps you make decisions so that you aren't going here or there. It helps you throw or direct your blows more accurately. It also helps lessen the overwhelm. You guys, in business, there are always going to be things that we have to do. There's always going to be things that we are trying to figure out and juggle all the things. But with this concept of one word, it helps us to be focused and be able to maybe outsource or prioritize all the other things around this particular word that ends up being an intention or a goal. And it puts you in a positive and powerful mindset. Now, I didn't really understand the depth of this until last year. Sometimes we're really hard on ourselves. Let's just be honest. As human beings, we tend to look at ourselves very critically. We even do that towards other people, but we really do that even in our own ability. Like looking at what we do, we are very critical and negative most of the times of the things that we do. And as creative entrepreneurs, I find that we definitely are like that. We're thinking that our work isn't good enough, that our decisions aren't good enough, this price or this item or whatever it is in our business isn't enough. And we think about that a lot. But having in mind a word helps you be more positive because you're looking for opportunities to turn to be something that's very intentional and purposeful for your business. So it's truly a powerful and positive mind-setting thing you should do. Whether you do it for the year or whether you do it, have a quarterly word, it's just a really good idea. It's a really good practice for your business. And I think it's really good for your life. If you have, one word for your business and maybe one word for your personal life, I've heard that go really well. I've also heard people do mantras for the year. The whole concepts are still the same thing. It's helping you create intentional and purposeful habits. It's helping you feel less overwhelmed because you are focusing on one thing, and it helps you be more positive and have a better and more powerful mindset of what you can actually accomplish. It's kind of like having a journey. You guys, I've talked about the difference between goals and intentions on my Instagram and things like that. And I think the simplest way I've ever heard it or have ever understood it myself It's like taking a trip. It's like taking a trip. You have the goal of getting to, let's just say, Jamaica. But along the way, there are different little things you can do to enjoy that beautiful journey to your destination. And all those little decisions and things that you choose to do before you get to your destination or your end goal are your intentions, right? You can just have one goal: I'm going to get to Jamaica, I'm going to get on a plane. Or you can have an intention and a goal, which is I'm going to go to Jamaica. But on the way to Jamaica, I am going to experience something I've never experienced before. I'm going to take a moment and maybe fly first class because I've never done that before. I also want to, when I'm on the plane, maybe listen to something I've never listened to before. I'm going to talk to the person next to me because usually I don't like talking to people. I might learn something from someone. Those are intentional decisions you're making along your journey or along your path to your goal. And so that's how I like to think about it. And so if you have a word for the year, it makes that so much easier and again less overwhelming because it focuses you. So one of the things for my 2020 this year is the word create. Now you might think, Nikita, that is so broad. That's such a broad word. And it is a broad word. But what I have found last year is that with my word being community, I really focused on that phrase being something that I wanted people to associate with my business, Crafted to Thrive. I wanted to have a company or a business and a podcast where people would go and listen to and feel like a community feel, like they were walking into a co-working space and they felt all the feels. Like they felt like, I know this woman. I know the women talking on this show. I know if I've experienced this in my life and that is similar to this other person. I've gotten reviews and I've gotten emails from people telling me their experience, and that's all collectively made this feel like a community vibe. If you've ever been a part of a physical community, it's really interesting because it takes time to figure all that out. But with my business being online and I'm just starting to do a lot of things, a little few things offline, I really wanted people all around the world or wherever you were to feel like they could join in into this cool, real, down to earth community and learn something, whether it's for their life or their business. So for me, last year in 2019, I focused a lot on giving and learning what this group of women who was a part of this community would need. So I focused on doing a lot of things just for them. I focused on saying yes to a lot of things that I didn't necessarily think I would have said yes to had my word not been community. I also focused a lot on bringing more value and knowledge and experience than my income because I really was in a space where I was trying to discover things. I did a beta course with three beautiful, amazing entrepreneurs to learn more about, do I want to create a group coaching or do I want to continue to keep going with my one-on-one coaching? And in that process, of course, I learned about what each individual person would need and those different stages in their business. And so I was able to create a community even within that group. So it really did help me last year understand and gain clarity. I mean, seriously, you guys, if you're ever trying to figure out what to do in your business, my biggest suggestion is just to keep doing something. Focus on one thing and things will become clearer and clearer and clearer. And then you'll decide at the end or towards the end whether you need to do this, want to do this, have to do this, or if this brings you any kind of joy. All of those things will become something that you will become more clear on when you are making purposeful decisions based on this word that you're choosing for the year. So for 2020, again, my word is create. So why is my word create? Well, I want to create opportunities for myself in my business to grow my income, grow my community, and grow my ability to coach more women in their creative businesses and helping more women who are living with chronic illness see that you can start a business where there's a side hustle or wherever it is that you're trying to do with your life while you're dealing with these life hurdles. As a new friend, just I just met a new friend on a Facebook group, and she said she's a copywriter. Of course, I love copywriters. And she's like, yeah, all of us have chronic issues, and she's another chronic warrior. And she's like, but we all have life hurdles. And you guys have heard me talk about it on the show so many different times, that we all, whether you have a chronic illness or not, we all have life going on, right? So sometimes life is like huge. Like we've got crazy things going on. And that was the perfect word, life hurdles that we have going on. So I wanted to create more impact for those women. And that's why create is my word. I also wanted to create more moments for forgiveness and grace for myself and for the people around me. So that means I have to be looking for opportunities. And that is why I chose the word create. Sometimes you also have to create opportunities for yourself. You have to insert yourself. You have to show some, what is the word, you guys? I can't think of it. You have to show some initiative. You have to put yourself out there. And just having that shift in my mind, in my business, I've done that just in the month of January so far. We are, close to the end of the month, and I've have some pretty cool, amazing opportunities coming up. I'm going to be teaching a course soon here in Lawrenceville, for just the local community. I am, that was a thing that I did that I wouldn't necessarily have even mentioned. I was nervous when I was talking to the business owner about even mentioning what I did and what I do, and they just grasped onto it. So that was a moment where I had to insert or show initiative and create an possible opportunity, or even create a relationship with a local business, which I absolutely love. And I have been creating more impact and more moments, even in my coaching on Instagram and Facebook, by showing up more and being very specific about what I do and how people can work with me, and then what they can get from me from value from just all my free sources that I have out there. And so I'm super excited to share with you guys what this whole word of the year is, because it's a big popular woo woo thing that we hear a lot. And I think a lot of people think of it as a woo woo thing. It's just your word that you're looking at on the wall that you might have personalized, which I think that's great. A visual of that is important. But even more importantly, I think is to really think about what you want to happen, like the choices you're going to make, the actions you're going to have to do in order for that word to actually be what you look at the end of the year or the end of the quarter and be like, yes, I did create a community like I did in 2019. And this year, at the end of 2020, I want to be like, yes, man, I created a lot of opportunities to speak, to coach, and to create impact. And I created a lot more moments where I was looking to give forgiveness and be graceful and give grace and give myself grace and give other people grace by just understanding where they are, and all of those things, creating opportunity. And that's why my word is create. So I would love to hear what your word is for 2020. If you are listening to this podcast, thank you. Thank you so much for being a listener and a supporter of She's Crafted to Thrive. If you have any questions, please leave it in the show notes, comments, and let me know. But I also want to hear what your word is for 2020. If you need some help figuring out that word, please reach out to me at info@crafted to thrive, and leave a review for this podcast on iTunes. You guys, I would love to have some more reviews. I get so many emails from you guys and saying how much you love and appreciate, even IG messages and Facebook messages. But if you guys could leave me a review on iTunes, it would be so helpful, because if I get some more reviews on there, more and more people will benefit from everything that these stories that these other amazing women are sharing on the show are sharing, and learn from those tips and tools and those experiences and be inspired and empowered to do what they love. So again, I'm going to say it one more time. Please go into iTunes and leave me a review. I'd love to hear what your word is for 2020. And of course, you guys, you know how the saying goes. Just remember, you are crafted to thrive.